silly getting up here and talking about marketing with a group like you, because you guys are already marketing experts, or you would not have survived like you have. So you guys should be standing up here with me talking about this. Maybe the only advantage I have is that I've been doing just marketing, not marketing in my own business, but just marketing for over 20 years. About 20 years, over 20 years. So I've been doing it a long time. And I've done it with, I sold radio. That's how I first got in the business. I sold KPLX. Does anybody remember Flex? Do y'all remember that? Yeah. I sold KPLX. And that's how I got started in the business. I then went with one of my clients, and we opened up our own little shop. And we did radio spots, and we wrote them. And it turns out we were really good at writing radio spots, and we really enjoyed doing radio spots. In fact, we enjoyed doing radio spots a lot more than we enjoyed going out and selling to get new clients. We had one real client, Rent-A-Center, way back then, if you remember. Rent-A-Center. We did Rent-A-Center commercials on the radio. We wrote them and produced them, and it was so much fun. We wanted to stay in the studio all the time instead of getting out and selling. So our business, when Rent-A-Center eventually went under and dragged our business along. Yeah. So then I went to Sonic Industries, the fast food out of Oklahoma City, and I was the marketing and advertising guy down here. And then I went with a distributor for Sonic. We started as a little small produce company, and we ended up multi-state, all through the Deep South. And then we got bought out, and I went with DFW Communications, that was later Crosspoint Communications, and was there for 23 years, actually 23 years, my longest stint. And then they got bought out, and the company that bought us out already had a marketing czar, and they didn't need another marketing czar, and so they gave him my walking papers. So that brings us up to Azon, and that's where I am now. So what I wanted to talk about real quick, and I know, boy, man, I have a lot of time to talk, so
1 minute left.
we'll go through it real quick. Marketing is like fishing. So let's all go on a little fishing trip here. So when you're thinking about going fishing, one of the first things you do is you decide, what kind of fish? Do I want to do saltwater fishing? Do I want to do freshwater fishing? Do I want to do top lures? Or do I want to fish on the bottom? So when you're figuring out, when you're going fishing for customers, what you want to do is you want to figure, do I want to do business to business? Do I want to do retail? So you got to kind of get a picture of what your customer looks like. Like you would probably do retail. I mean, I'm sure you do some business to business, but you probably get a lot of retail business. Edit This is probably mostly business to business, I would guess. So you got to figure out where you're going to fish. I mean, what your fish looks like. Then the next thing you got to figure out is where's the best fishing hole to go to, right? So what you will need to do, basically, best fishing hole in marketing talk is your vertical market. Who do you want? You want to narrow it down. This is all targeting. Who is your vertical market, your target audience? That's your fishing hole. You want to pick out your best fishing hole, right? I would say, like, Edit This would be business to business is your, where do I go and get those businesses? Well, some of my best fishing holes would be networking. And I know Steve is in several networking groups. The Louisville Chamber, we're in that together. We're here, and I think we're probably in a couple more. Yeah. So that's a really good fishing hole for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can actually get in and actually meet people that can get to know you and get to know what you do so well. And so then the next thing we got to do is once we find that fishing hole, we got to figure out what our bait's going to be. What are we going to use for bait? Are we going to use lures? Are we going to use cut bait? Are we going to use worms or live minnows? What are we going to use? Well, our bait is our message. What are we going to use to catch that client, right? That's our message. So you got to figure out what is it about my business that will grab people, will grab the prospects, that will get them to call me, right? And so you use that as your bait, and all of this, your messaging, your market, your audience, all this comes together, and the goal for all of this is conversions, which is catching the fish, getting it, and bringing in conversions. That's what we're after. So with that in mind, how are we doing? With that in mind, let's take edit this and just kind of run through it as an example. So we kind
I'm
of.
not paying him to do this.
The funny thing is I had actually thought about this idea before, so it's I already had it, so I didn't have to work too hard to present it. So edit this. We know that that our kind of fish that we're going after is business to business. We know that a good fishing hole for us would be networking groups locally, just getting my face out there. Another good fishing hole that I thought about for you would be like going onto the employee sites, Indeed.com, those kind of employment sites. You can actually go on, and I did this. You can actually go on and you can type in and you can see what you can find employees that are looking for copywriters. That is a darn good fishing hole right there. Employees that are looking for writers. So just get on there, find employees that are looking for writers, and then your bait for those guys, your message for those guys can be, hey, you're looking for an employee that you're going to have to pay insurance for, that you're going to have to pay employment taxes for, that you're going to have to make room for in your facility. You're paying not just for the work, you're paying for all this other stuff alongside of that. So your bait will be, I can give you just the work, and you'll pay me for just the work. And that's your bait. That's what you want to throw out there to all those guys in that fishing hole, right? And let them see if any of them will bite on that. So that's just kind of a quick run through of how marketing is like fishing. And you guys, and the more you go fishing, the more you're going to catch. It just makes sense, right? The more effort you put into the marketing, the more conversions, fish you're going to catch. And it's just like, and we've seen it. We've seen it here in our group, in this room. Every time Digger puts on something on the internet, Mike has said, I get calls. That's conversion. Every time, so it works. Socials are a great place social media is a great place to find fishing holes. You can actually go onto Facebook or LinkedIn and you can find groups. Just go in and look at the groups and you can find groups for almost anything. So that is a great fishing hole to look for. So I'm about out of time. I wish I could talk quicker and not have to hurry it so much, but are there any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Good. Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
So how does all that, that was a really nice, that was a really great description of, the whole marketing process. I really appreciated that. And I'm just wondering how that ties in with Azar Man.
With Azar Man, what we're doing, I found a really great fishing hole on socials. I went in and I started looking at the groups on socials, and lo and behold, I know that when I told you guys I was in the LED business, I know I could see everybody's jaw dropping to the
eyes glaze over. The eyes glaze over.
LED? What is LED, right? Well, I went on to the socials. It is LED displays, right? I went in on the socials and I found all kinds of groups that are LED repair guys, LED manufacturers, LED this, LED that. And now I send out and I post at least twice a week on there. We're also opening up an online store where we're going to sell cables and parts for LED. And so I'm going on there and I'm finding LED repair guys, LED installers. I'm also looking up integrators that do LED and audio, because a lot of them use the same electronic parts. So I found a great fishing hole. I know my customer. I've known my customer for quite some time, so I know what I'm fishing for. I'm just looking for different fishing holes and different bait, just like a normal fishing guy. Good. That's a good question.
Good answer.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.